Hey guys, welcome to day 7 of IPL. We just had a nail biter uh, with Punjab and Rajasthan, with Punjab scraping through and a very exciting match. However, in terms of fantasy, I think a lot of things went haywire for a lot of managers. What are your initial thoughts, guys?
I think cricket, as they say, right? It's a good leveler. I think हमारी जो कल की prediction थी based on the 5 or 6 best picks you can have for Rajasthan, they didn't sort of perform well. आज खराब दिन रहा. मेरे हिसाब से for राजस्थान मैच का मुजरिम was Padikkal, because उसकी innings की वजह से I think uh, शिमरॉन हिटमायर को, रियान पराग को, ध्रुव जुरैल को, इन लोगों को इनफ बॉल्स नहीं मिले टू फिनिश द मैच. इवन पंजाब की बॉलिंग में एलिस के अलावा कोई कोई खास धार नहीं थी. बट मेरे हिसाब से दोनों टीमों के पास कुछ ना कुछ है सोचने के लिए. और स्पेशली राजस्थान के पास, क्योंकि वो ये मैच आराम से जीत सकते थे अगर थोड़ा सा स्ट्रैटेजी सही होती. अश्विन को ओपनिंग भेजना, सम ऑफ दीज थिंग्स बैकफायर्ड आई वुड से. तो a lot for both the teams to think. देखते हैं कि आगे दोनों क्या कॉम्बिनेशन में चेंजेस करते हैं.
Right. And picking Butler as captain, as we have spoken before, not picking Butler as captain becomes a high risk option or becomes like a differential option because, if Butler clicks, he really clicks. And if you don't pick him as captain and he clicks, that can be quite damaging to your team. And we, of course, can't expect him to click each and every game. And like Jammu rightly mentioned, sending Ashwin opening was an unexpected choice that Rajasthan made that most of us didn't expect. And, we basically have to continue sticking to our guns, sticking to, the consistent players over the next few games.
Yeah, I think in my team also fairly mediocre returns today. But as fantasy says, you still back the consistent players over the long run of the season, which I did. And the differential strategy I did to have a still somewhat average, manageable game day was having these uncapped buys like Jitesh and Prab Simran, who had a pretty decent match, helping me to maintain the rank rather than gaining. So yeah, it was a okay match, something to take like chin up and sort of go into the next match. And then what is the
Yep.
next match? We have an exciting match coming up today between KKR and RCB. Both teams had very contrasting results in their very first games. So these were the 11s that both of them had in their matches. So any thoughts, guys, on first on KKR, their game against SRH? Oh, sorry, not SRH, Punjab.
के पंजाब, yeah. So KKR मेरे हिसाब से they need to get a lot of combinations right. Like last match में डेथ में रसल ने बॉल नहीं किया, उमेश ने बॉल नहीं किया. Their middle order of Anukul Roy, Venkatesh, Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, Sunil Narayan, all left-handers packed, right? And ये ऐसे लेफ्ट हैंडर्स हैं जिनसे आप एक बड़ा 60-70 का स्कोर एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो. सो आई फील केकेआर अभी भी कॉम्बिनेशन के मामले में दे आर वे ऑफ वेयर वुड दे वांट टू बी. श्रेयस अय्यर के जाने से देयर इज अ बिग वॉइड इन द मिडिल ऑर्डर. और मेरे को आई थिंक वो जेसन रॉय को इसीलिए लेके आए हैं फॉर टॉप ऑफ द ऑर्डर सो दैट दे कैन हैव गुरबाज आउट. आई आई वाज आई वाज रियली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू सीइंग जगदीशन प्ले. जैसे गुजरात साई सुदर्शन का यूज कर रहा है. साई सुदर्शन वाज द सेकंड हाईएस्ट रन स्कोरर. Jagdishan was the highest run scorer. So Jagdishan was someone I was expecting to start as a wicket keeper for KKR. Bowling lineup में I feel अगर लॉकी fit हो जाते हैं तो लॉकी will definitely come in for Saudi. So ये combinations बस उनको देखना है कि किस तरीके से अपने middle order को use कर सकें. और X factor हमेशा से I think पिछले 5-6 साल से Russell is the X factor of this team. उनको मैक्सिमाइज करना इज समथिंग दैट केकेआर वुड नीड टू रियली मेक श्योर कि वो इस गेम में ये कॉम्बिनेशन के साथ मैक्सिमाइज कर सकते हैं रसल का इम्पैक्ट.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, KKR have a decision to make here because they have recently acquired Jason Roy. they have Gurbaz, who didn't kill it in the first game, but didn't look too bad either. And then they have Liton Das coming in a few days as well. You have three overseas openers in KKR, and they really need to make a decision because, I don't see, like Jammu rightly mentioned, and Russell is their X factor. Narayan has been there in KKR for many years now. I don't see him not playing. And then it's either a toss up between Tim Saudi or Lockie. So it all comes down to who are they going to play as their fourth overseas player between Roy, Gurbaz, and Das. So they really need to get their combination set for the season unless, somebody starts not performing or doesn't perform rather.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree. First, what Jammu also said, the top order, as you can see here, only Venkatesh Iyer and Andre Russell had sort of a decent outing. Rest, all of them failed, and that something is very contrasting to what RCB did, right? Like the top order finished the game, and their middle order actually did not get a chance to be tested. And I think even in terms of bowling, Umesh and Varun Chakravarti were the sole sparks in the bowling lineup. Sunil and Saudi went for too many runs. And Eden Gardens, it'll be very interesting to see how these guys fare up to the openers of RCB. Do you think RCB will be very reliant on their openers, or do you see even the middle order batsmen doing well at Eden Garden tomorrow?
For sure. RCB ka season on how much progress they would make to say the playoffs or the stages after would depend on Faf or Kohli kitna chalte hain. The advantage RCB has right now is Faf has been in a stellar form for the last 12 months. Kohli को actually एक Faf जैसा partner चाहिए at the beginning of the order who can take those calculated risk and Kohli gets his time to set in, right? हमने first game में देखा कि the middle order of RCB is not tested at all. That is something that is that will be on the minds of the RCB staff in terms of how much exposure does the middle order get in terms of Faf or Kohli failing. But ये approach इनको change नहीं करनी चाहिए. इनको aggressive approach अपनी बैटिंग के साथ थ्रू आउट रखनी चाहिए. डीके, मैक्सवेल, ब्रेसवेल, लोमरोर जो भी खेल रहे हैं इन लोगों को अपना नेचुरल गेम को बैक करना चाहिए. और फॉर वंस मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि बैटिंग इस सीजन आरसीबी का स्ट्रॉन्गर सूट बन सकता है जो कि बॉलिंग रहा है पहले कुछ सीजन से.
Do you think DK?
Yeah, fully agree because, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
just
Yeah.
just wanted a follow-up question here. Do you think DK, we saw DK coming at one down? I believe it was more like a finishing role, but do you see DK coming up more
करेक्ट.
frequently?
नहीं, आई फील कि डीके अगेन ही इज नॉट समवन जो आपको ऊपर आके एक अच्छे 60-70 रन दे रहे हैं. रादर उनको you can save him for the last 8, 10, 15 balls and try to maximize on the score. What if you're batting first, make it bigger. If you're chasing to finish like games which are tight and जहाँ पे required run rate is sort of over the 10-12 run का mark, right? So I feel DK का वो role बहुत अच्छा defined है. I think he performs well. He has a clarity with that. और
Right.
मैक्सवेल को since he's your star performer, give him as many balls as possible. अगर फैफ और कोहली फेल करते हैं तो I feel DK should come down the order. They should experiment between the likes of Shahbaz, Bracewell, Lomro if they're playing them. अगर कोई number 3 का slot बढ़ सकता है तो I feel Maxwell is a perfect number 4 for RCB.
Right, right. And DK
Another
has been preparing for this role of a finisher for the past couple of years. So, he has worked hard, prepared for that role, and it makes sense that he continues in that role because, he has become familiar, he is prepared for that role. So, like Jammu mentioned, I think DK playing the finisher's role makes sense. And, Maxwell being their X factor in the middle order, it's important to give him the maximum number of balls. The more he plays, the more chances you're giving him to score more runs. And at the same time, you also want to develop the young players like Lomror over the season where you don't want to put them under pressure in a critical game right at the end of the season. So it's important to give them the required exposure and confidence as well as the season goes on.
Right. Yeah, I think fairly agree with that. Middle order is something which RCB will have to sort of see and try to give more and more exposure, because I see a lot of balls being batted by Faf and Kohli during this tournament. So they'll have to ensure that all the batsmen are up and ready for any given day. What do you think about the bowling, right? Like bowling sort of fired initially, then it was taken to cleaners by upcoming batsmen of Mumbai Indians. And do you see them struggling again during, as has been RCB's tradition of struggling in the death? Do you see that problem be continuing in other pitches, or was it more because it was Chinnaswamy?
They might have this problem. I think अगर आरसीबी को सीजन में अच्छा करना है तो हर्षल पटेल को अच्छा करना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर आप ये बॉलिंग लाइनअप देख रहे हैं जो लास्ट मैच में खेला है, आकाशदीप, टॉपली, सिराज, सिराज बहुत मेच्योर हुए हैं एज अ बॉलर इन द लास्ट कपल ऑफ इयर्स, पर फिर भी आई थिंक दे आर नॉट स्पेशलिस्ट बॉलर्स एज सच. तो मेरे को ये लगता है कि हर्षल के जो 2 या 3 ओवर जो वो डेथ में डालता है, ही नीड्स गुड पार्टनर्स इन टैंडम. वरना ये होता है कि एक एंड से रन लीक होते हैं. हर्षल भी ही हैज दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ, आई थिंक he gives away loose deliveries, no balls, a little bit of extra. So वहां से आई थिंक यू आर नॉट एबल टू कंटेन अ टीम. तो आरसीबी के साथ बहुत अच्छा ये रहता है कि कई बार 10, 12, 14 ओवर आप बहुत अच्छे देखते हैं और लास्ट 6 ओवर में दे कंसीड लाइक 70, 80 रन, और फिर मैच का पूरा डायनामिक्स बहुत डिफरेंट दिखता है. तो आरसीबी को अपने बॉलिंग लाइनअप में ये देखने की बहुत जरूरत है कि हर्षल को कॉन्फिडेंस रहे. हर्षल परफॉर्म्स जो उन्होंने 1-2 सीजन पहले परफॉर्म किया था, ही इज ऑलवेज इनटू द विकेट्स. तो उनको ये कॉम्बिनेशन सही लाने हैं कि हर्षल के साथ कौन कौन से बॉलर्स होंगे जो डेथ तक के लिए बचाए जा सकते हैं. अगर टॉपली या विली टाइप के बॉलर्स खेलते हैं तो दे बोल मोर इन द पावर प्ले बिकॉज दे आर मोर सीम बॉलर्स रादर देन जस्ट बीइंग डेथ बॉलर्स. तो सिराज और हर्षल को वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ज्यादा लेनी पड़ेगी टू गेट द डेथ ओवर्स इन, और डेथ ओवर्स इज समथिंग दैट वुड मेक अ डिफरेंस इन लॉट ऑफ आरसीबी मैचेस दैट यू विल सी इन दिस सीजन.
Absolutely right, and it's important for Shabazz to bowl tight overs as well, because
Yeah.
yeah, especially at a time if Shabazz is bowling in tandem with Harshal, it's important for Shabazz to keep it tight from one end, and he's a very versatile bowler who can bowl in the power play like Washington Sundar or Akshar Patel, or he can bowl in the middle overs to keep the runs, to kind of tie down the run flow, or even in the death overs when if you have certain overseas players weak against spin. So I think it's key to how RCB uses Shabazz in the bowling department.
Yeah, I think at Eden Gardens, I think Shabazz role, you'd see more overs from him. So yeah, that is something to
Yeah.
look forward to. So quickly jumping into the fantasy picks, right, for tomorrow. So which are the first couple of names that come in your mind?
I think Faf,
Faf and
Kohli.
Kohli, I think, yeah, those are the first two names that come to my mind, especially with the form they have been in.
Right.
Yeah, I think one of the highest partnerships. So definitely form players looking to make sort of very critical of how they perform to take through the season. So yeah, that will be something very critical. Who do you think?
Shubham, what do you think about being Eden Gardens? Do you think Maxi bowls?
I think Maxi,
I
according
think
to
so.
he's a punty pick, because I think in the past also it has favored spin, and the role of Maxwell is more sort of being the one who takes on the spinners. So even in terms of take batting, he'll be crucial, and obviously I'm expecting him to chip in with a couple of overs. He even chipped in with a over when it did not matter much. That is, I think, Fav's trust in him,
Yeah,
that he's looking to give him more overs during the tournament. So
yeah,
if he got it
yeah.
at Chinna, he should definitely get at Eden Gardens.
Yep.
Any
I think
hmm,
with Maxwell in particular, right? Any fantasy team that you make, I know this is a slightly abused term. They talk about 3D players, right? So अगर आप मैक्सवेल को 2 ओवर दे रहे हो, 3 ओवर दे रहे हो, देन ही डेफिनेटली बिकम्स वन ऑफ द कंटेंडर्स फॉर बीइंग द कैप्टन और द वाइस कैप्टन इन द टीम एज वेल, राइट? कई बार फॉर्म पे कोहली, फैफ आपको बहुत अच्छे पिक्स इसलिए लगते हैं बिकॉज दे गिव यू गुड रन्स एंड गुड पॉइंट्स, बट मैक्सवेल को अगर 1 या 2 विकेट मिल जाते हैं, 1 या 2 कैचेस एंड क्विक 40-50, राइट, वो आपको एक 100-120 पॉइंट्स हर मैच में लाके दे सकते हैं. सो मैक्सवेल इज डेफिनेटली आवर पॉइंटी पिक.
कोई अच्छे मिड प्राइस्ड पिक्स आपको लग रहे हैं कल के मैच के लिए आरसीबी से? Do you think there is any scope of a good mid-priced pick in this, like maybe a Topley even a Siraj? I think is not priced that high. So do you think bowlers of RCB pacer especially will make a difference tomorrow, or you'd avoid them?
They might. अगर अगर मनदीप और गुरबाजी कंटिन्यू टू ओपन करते हैं तो आई डेफिनेटली हैव वन बॉलर फ्रॉम आरसीबी बिकॉज मेरे लिए पर्सनली आई वुड नॉट वांट टू सी मनदीप इन द केकेआर लाइनअप बट बी रिप्लेस्ड बाय जगदीशन. फॉर्म इज समथिंग जो हमेशा दिमाग में रखना है उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. सो सिराज ऑल्सो, आई थिंक हमने बोल्ट के बारे में डिस्कशन किया था. ही इज अ वेरी गुड बॉलर अप फ्रंट. वो 1 या 2 विकेट डेफिनेटली ले रहा है अप फ्रंट, बट ज्यादा पॉइंट्स के लिए 3-4 विकेट्स, इकोनॉमी को कंट्रोल में रखना, डेथ में आके विकेट्स लेना, दैट इज समथिंग जो अभी सिराज सही से कर नहीं पा रहा. तो सिराज को वहां पे थोड़ा फोकस करना पड़ेगा, बट जो उसका फॉर्म रहा है 12 महीनों में अक्रॉस ऑल फॉर्मेट्स, राइट, तो आई एम सर्टेन कि ही हैज द पोटेंशियल ऑफ डूइंग वेल.
Right.
Any
And
players
KKR does not
you
have
would
an
avoid?
excellent batting order. So, usually you would fancy the new bowlers of the opposition at least taking 1 or 2 wickets against KKR in the power play.
Yeah. Any picks you would clearly avoid, Abhishek, from RCB tomorrow?
I think looking at the form that Faf and Kohli are in, I wouldn't want to pick any new ball bowlers from KKR. Like I would avoid Umesh in general, just purely because of the kind of form that Faf and Kohli are in, the way they are looking so comfortable at the crease. Um, I would avoid any new ball bowlers like Umesh, or I don't think it's worth taking the risk on even Saudi for that matter. Yeah.
What about the old war?
अगर लॉकी फिट हैं तो सऊदी के जगह खेलेगा. लॉकी अगर फिट हैं तो आई एम सर्टेन कि सऊदी डज नॉट गेट अ स्टार्ट. लॉकी इज we know for ground like Eden how effective a guy like Loki can be. So अगर Loki fit है तो he definitely plays in the 11. But I think last match में जो भी थोड़ा सा scare था उसके बाद he is recovered, so he should be available for the selection today.
Right.
Yeah, I think agreed. What do you think about the old horses for KKR, Nareen and Russell? Do you think they still add value?
Fantasy में Nareen is someone who's not adding a lot of values. He's also someone जो आपको 2 गेम के लिए बहुत अच्छे पॉइंट्स देके जाएंगे. But that'd be interesting to see अगर KKR wants to go back to the old method of Nareen opening, like a Nareen being someone who's aggressive up front और एक उसके साथ कोई anchor type का innings खेले. But otherwise, I would avoid Nareen. Russell is definitely someone who can, take the fantasy away from you. So
Exactly.
Russell को टीम में ना रखना is a big mistake. For me, he's a differential right now rather than a good buy because जो use उसका नीतीश राणा ने किया last game में, that was limited. So looking at Russell as a premium differential or a punty pick for us, in terms of a good pick, I would not put him there right now.
Yeah.
Any clear picks from KKR? Do you think if you have to go for maybe 1 or 2 players, who would be the ones you would be backing here?
I am expecting a lot more from Venkatesh Iyer and Nitish Rana, honestly. दोनों के पास मौका बहुत अच्छा है to go big. इन लोगों को भी अपना नेचुरल गेम को कर्व नहीं करना चाहिए. वेंकटेश अय्यर, I think he's a player that he prefers batting in the power play, but Nitish Rana is someone who can maneuver the middle overs well. So उसको कैप्टन्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेके थोड़ा सा अपनी इनिंग्स को पेस करना चाहिए एंड आई थिंक वंस ही हैज हिज आई इन 20-30 बॉल अगर खेल लेगा तो आई एम सर्टेन ही कैन गिव यू अ बिग स्कोर. सो ही इज अ मिड प्राइस डिफरेंशियल and can give you good points.
What do you think about a Bracewell kind of player for RCB? Would you avoid him?
On a ground like
Hmm.
I would avoid him. On a ground like Eden Gardens, he'll be effective, but not sure on कि उसको कितना खेलने का मौका मिलेगा. मतलब
Exactly. We
बैटिंग
don't
कितना
know how
करेगा,
much
4
bat.
ओवर डालेगा कि नहीं. That is the challenge.
Lot of uncertainty.
Right.
What do you guys think about Rinku? Do you think he's going to have the same kind of success that he had last season?
I would personally have Rinku as an option for Uncapped because firstly, there are not, I would not say there are completely like clearly any clear picks, Uncapped picks for tomorrow's game. That is one primary reason.
Yeah.
Second, there were actually rumors circulating that Rinku is also part of the leadership, and that was something as a surprise to me. But that shows the backing KKR is going to possibly give him this season. So we might see him
Right.
coming up also of the order. Like he batted, I think, little low. He batted at number 7 because they sent in an Anukul Roy. But yeah, there is possibility Rinku might start coming up.
Right. Jammu, what are your thoughts on Shardul? Do you think he, of course, he's going to bowl his quota of 4 overs, but
Yeah.
would you consider any value as a batter for Shardul?
Value as a batter abhi nahi. I feel he's batting too low in the order. I would actually avoid him for now क्योंकि शार्दुल का I feel the best use माही भाई करते थे क्योंकि शार्दुल के साथ when to bowl him, how to bowl him, he's going to go for runs. वो run
Yeah.
खाते ही खाते हैं. But वो जो 3-4 wickets शार्दुल दे जाते हैं, that is something that creates that impact of him having in their team. तो अभी के लिए जैसे उनका फॉर्म रहा है और जो अभी वो लास्ट मैच खेले हैं, आई थिंक अभी उसको अवॉइड करेंगे. बट शार्दुल एक ऐसा प्लेयर है, इफ यू रियली वांट अ गुड 60-70 पॉइंट्स, if he finds his rhythm in the tournament, early in the tournament, वो going forward आपको 2-3 विकेट्स हर गेम में दे सकते हैं. Because you think you can hit him hard, but he has that deception and getting wickets.
Right.
He's good at that.
He leaks runs, but has a tendency to take wickets when he's in his
Take
rhythm.
wickets, exactly. Yeah. आई थिंक शाहबाज एक अनकैप्ड प्लेयर होगा जिसको आई फील
अनकैप्ड नहीं है ना
आरसीबी को और बैक. ओ शाहबाज, हाँ, करेक्ट द सेम मिस्टेक. शाहबाज भी अगेन ही हैज प्लेड अ कपल ऑफ गेम्स.
Shabazz ki value sort of and fantasy pick went slightly low because of him getting that fixture.
Because of the
But
yes.
still, I think over
For
a
sure.
season, if he keeps bowling, might be a budget enabler type of a pick. So we'll have to keep close eyes. But I think right now he's not a clear avoid or a clear pick according to me.
Correct. For sure.
Agreed.
My bad on that. Yeah.
And any final thoughts, or we can jump into the captains. Who do you think will be your captain and vice captain tomorrow? Will you go for a differential pick or you're going to go for standard Faf Kohli?
स्टैंडर्ड फैफ कोहली में से एक को कैप्टन बनाओ बिकॉज फॉर्म उनकी अप्रोच, उनको जो टाइम है, उनको जो बैकिंग है, मतलब एवरीथिंग वर्क्स इन देयर फेवर. The only thing you need to sort of decide is a matchup in your head that Umesh is really good with the swing up front. So Kohli needs to be careful if he wants to attack at the top of the order. But Faf उनको वो cushion दे देते हैं, and Faf I feel he's is a very good choice for being either your captain or vice captain. And then रसल उनकी वैल्यू को आप कभी भी कम नहीं आंक सकते. तो रसल आई फील is a very good option for giving you a good 100-150 points. So between Faf, Kohli and Russell is what I'm thinking of my captains and vice captains for tomorrow.
So I'm thinking like Jammu mentioned, I think Faf, Kohli as your captain, vice captain are like your safest picks, which most people would go ahead with. And depending on the risk appetite of a person, if you want to take a little bit of risk and upside with either your captain or vice captain, then you can look into Russell or Maxwell. but I really don't see anyone beyond Faf, Kohli, Maxwell, and Russell.
Yeah, I think similar take. I think Maxwell, if RCB bats first, might be a good pick because don't expect them to again score a 150 every day. So, and Maxwell
Yeah.
will come out at one down if they have less overs and to his normal four. So, I think he's going to get enough balls. That's what we could see even from small glimpses, and definitely seeing him bowling a couple of overs. So, yeah, Maxwell, I think, will be a differential pick that I might go for personally.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Akash Deep is another uncapped option which we can sort of have for the managers.
Correct. If
Yeah.
people are going hard after bowlers in the middle over, KKR batsman Akashdeep आके एक दो wickets ले सकता है. So
Yeah.
he's a good choice for being your second uncapped pick. Uh,
Yeah.
Rinku, again, I think they should trust him more. उसको 4 पे 5 पे 6 पे बैटिंग ज्यादा करवानी चाहिए rather than thinking about कि सब लोगों के बैटिंग के बाद रिंकू आएगा और हर गेम में आपको 20 बॉल 40 मार के देगा. तो some tough decisions to make for the franchise as well in terms of the combination. But I think RCB is looks like a better choice at this stage of winning the game for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
personally, fingers crossed. Let's hope that an encore happens of what happened against Mumbai. So yeah, let's go RCB. And yeah, I think we'll see. Faf Kohli look an obvious choice for most of the managers. And if you're looking for differential, you can go for the Russell or Maxwell. Initial part of the season, viewers, please back, I think, the known players. It puts you in a good stead for the longer part of the season. Then we can sort of go for differences. So yeah, I think good discussion, guys. Thank you everyone for
One
watching.
last question should
Yeah,
be
sure.
one last question. Who do you think opens for KKR finally between Gurbaz and Jason Roy?
I think tomorrow, it
Roy
is a little
is
too early for
not
Jason.
available this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
he's
not
not
available
available.
I think
Yeah.
Jagdishan and
Yep.
Gurbaz might be, as Jammu was telling, instead of Mandeep. So I think that is the only change in batting and bowling. Yeah, Lockey might come in
Right.
for Saudi and RCB. I don't expect major changes in 11. So yeah, I think
Right.
this is what is our sort of understanding, and let's see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, all the best to everyone, and yeah,
All
thank you
right.
for watching. Thank you guys. Thank you
Yes.
for the discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.